Lucas, Lucas Rosa, where you at, bro? I know you see me chirping at you. Normally I'm not the type to talk shit, but you want to keep ducking fights. I can't get fights, so I'm gonna have to resort to doing this. So let's see what that 9-0 is all about. You call yourself the king of monsters. Come see a real monster. Let's find out about it.
And welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm Giuliano, and today I'm joined with Vincenzo Iannuzzo. He's a professional fighter here out of New England, and he recently had a fight scheduled for NEF. That fight kind of fell out, so he's here today joining me on the show. Vincenzo, how are you?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. I've been a big fan of yours for a while. You're 3-2 as a professional. You've also had a lot of amateur experience. I see you went 3-0 in kickboxing, and then you had a nice run in MMA, amateur MMA as well. And then you made the move to pro, so now you're 3-2, coming off a win from NEF against Felipe Gunter.
Yep.
Um, Back in when was that? February?
That was in November. I wish it was
November.
February, but
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That was that was a while ago.
Yep.
So how about we talk about that win and then your recent fight that was supposed to happen like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. 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 So yeah, I mean the fight back in November, everything went really well. It was a good opportunity. Felipe was coming off fighting for the belt, so I was excited to get that matchup and kind of jump back into the competition pool, see where I stood as far as NEF's featherweight division. I knew he was going to be a tough kid. And if you watch him in any of his fights, he's very durable. He's always going to come in shape. So, I knew it would be tough. I knew the leg game would be something that was going to be a staple for him. We've seen him jump back and try and catch some of those heel hooks before. Sometimes he's finished them, sometimes he hasn't. So, we were just really prepared for that. Spent a lot of time, defending takedowns. Working out of bad positions if you do get caught in any, leg submissions and stuff like that. And then obviously just doing what I needed to do offensively, being able to establish the striking, keep the distance, do everything I needed to do, which ultimately paid off. So it was a good win. I was really happy with the performance, especially coming after, a tough loss the fight before that. So, it felt good to get back in there. And then, after that, it was just back to training. Had to help my teammate Tim Fargo get ready for his fight. He actually went overseas for a little bit between then. So that's kind of why I had to wait a little bit longer to try and get on a card. Just my main training partner and coaches were overseas. Um, and then we got to this point. We were signed, ready to go for NEF a couple weeks ago, and just ultimately fell through. Was supposed to fight Curtis Ellis, and he pulled out with a apparent injury. So here we are now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're currently obviously probably looking to get on a card, or are you maybe taking a couple weeks off and then looking to get on something a little bit further down the line for this year?
Yeah, I mean, we're still looking. August would be ideal right now. Just have a couple things for work and a couple weddings between now and then. So, August would be ideal. That was kind of what we were looking for if that fight had gone through anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Have that fight come back in August, come back or in October, and then try and get one more before the end of the year. So still kind of the same schedule. We just unfortunately didn't get this one in May.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so August, October, and then hopefully something in, November, December, before the year ends would be ideal.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Going back to your fight with Felipe, I think that was a great win for you. I was there then. I'm the commentator for NEF,
Yep.
so
Yep.
I was there then. I commentating your fight. Um, but that he Felipe is a very dynamic fighter.
Yeah.
He's good on the ground with his jiu-jitsu, and then also those heel hooks that he likes to go for, and then he's pretty good with the stand up, and then you're very good with the stand up as well. I was live when you fought Anthony Vasta when you
Yep.
had that pretty vicious knockout over him, and then I saw on your record you also had another quick, powerful knockout as well. So you're definitely got some heavy hands. So but Felipe's fight was the first one that you went all 3 rounds. How did that feel?
Felt good. I had my second pro fight, went the distance, lost a decision there. Just, I had the guy hurt early, and then the rest of the fight, he just kind of backed up and jabbed. And I
Hmm.
guess I just wasn't as active as I needed to be in rounds 2 and 3.
Hmm.
So, going the distance with Felipe and coming out on the other end of that, being able to control all 3 rounds, it felt nice.
Hmm.
I like to get the cage time. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem getting a fight from a quick knockout. Like
Hmm.
I'll always love doing that, but there's something to be said about experience. So I
Hmm.
think it was a good time. Had a lot of fun being in there. It was a good time, and like you said, he's a quality opponent, so it just makes it that much better. So
Yeah, definitely. And so you fight at 45 or 55?
45. I was
45.
fighting at 55 as an amateur,
Okay.
um, and then I had one fight as an amateur at 45. Made weight, but like totally messed up the cut. Like I stopped eating and drinking way too soon.
Mm.
And it was brutal. So I stayed at 55 for the rest of that, and then was like, you know what? I know I can make it if I do it the right way. I'm sure I'll be fine. And so far, so good. So
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so during your weight cuts, how much weight do you cut per? Is it a big cut for you when you go down?
yeah, I mean, I used to just cut from like upper 70s, like low 80s, and just cut the 45.
Wow.
But now like I work with a nutritionist and dietitian. His name is Eric Pena. He does a lot of work with like Dustin Poirier, Kayla Harrison, and all of them. So, he's been a huge help. Also Tim Fargo, like if you've ever seen him, the fact that he used to make 35 is like a
Yeah.
miracle in and of itself. So like we've just kind of, brainstormed with things and different techniques. I follow a really strict protocol now, so I taper it down, lose a lot of weight, get nice and lean, and then do the cut from usually like mid to low 60s to get to 45.
Hmm.
And then rehydrate really well, get back up to, about 70 by the night of the fight. So
Yep. Yep. So what's your everyday life look like when you're not getting ready for a fight?
yeah, I mean, there's usually I know like if you look at my record, it's like I've had a lot of fights and there's usually a decent amount of time between. So, that's a little misleading because I would say I'm always trying to be ready for a fight.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, day-to-day life, it's really just work, and then being a family guy. I always joke around. I live a pretty boring life for the most part. I don't do anything like too exciting. I'm just really passionate about the things that I do. So like,
Hmm.
obviously fighting and my family, those are like the two most important things to me.
Hmm.
So it's just spending time with my daughter, doing fun stuff like that, trying to create lasting memories with her.
Hmm.
And then occasionally just catching up with friends and stuff like that. And then if I'm
Hmm.
not doing that, I'm in the gym training. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And speaking of your teammate, excuse me, Tim Fargo, he just got a fight announced for Combat FC here
yep,
next month. Are you
yep.
gonna try and get on that card, or you're just gonna try and lay back a little bit and maybe just go help him?
So the thing that stinks is so I had the fight for NEF that was scheduled a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
My manager at the time was like in contact with them trying to get me a fight booked for that same card.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he didn't know, like, he wasn't in contact with me about it. I have a big recital for my daughter. She's got her first like recital for, dance. So I'm not available for that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been nice, but I gotta be a dad too. She's
Mm-hmm.
participating and stuff now, so I want to
Yeah.
support her and her things. So that's kind of why August is the timeline. But
Mm-hmm.
between now and then, I'll be helping Tim get ready.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. I'm a big fan of Tim as well. I've seen a lot of his fights for NEF too. So,
Yeah, yeah, he's a
yeah, yeah,
monster, man. I love training with him. He's like a brother to me.
yeah.
We're always there for each other, whether it's, practice, cutting
Mm-hmm.
weight, traveling up to Maine, whatever it is. So
Yeah. And where's your team location?
we're in Syracuse, New York.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Ultimate
you're
Athletics, yeah.
all the way in New
So
York. So
Maine, so what's
how'd
that?
you come across with NEF coming from New York? How'd you find out about NEF?
So it's funny. I had my first pro fight, and then NEF reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, you want to fight for us? We're looking for a 55er." And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Well, I'm trying to fight at 45, as long as I can." So, I got a teammate though, Dan Igura. He's a
Yeah,
55er and he's looking for a fight. And so then, I put them in contact and he ended up fighting Ed Davis.
yeah.
And that was our first trip up to Maine with
Yeah,
NEF.
yeah. That
And
was up
then,
in Bangor. I remember that.
Yeah. That was sick. It was a really cool fight because it was like really played up with like Ed Davis being like the hometown guy, like
Yeah,
America all the
I
way,
remember
and
that.
then yeah, and
Yeah.
Dan being Russian and everything. So, that was sweet. The booze coming down afterwards when Dan
Hmm.
won, like it was quite the experience, I will say.
Hmm.
And then Tim ended up getting, I think, his first professional fight for NEF. So we just kind of stayed in contact throughout, and it's
Hmm.
been a good spot for us. So.
Yeah, nice, nice. Do you fight for promotions in New York too?
Dude, we like don't have any. I wish.
No.
Like LFA comes through here. They just had an event yesterday.
Hmm.
I think it was at Seneca Allegheny. But they come through every now and then, but we don't really have anything, at least in upstate. Like I know there's Flex Fight Series that's a little bit more towards the city.
Yeah.
And we've, started branching out, trying to get in contact with them, but we've kind of just accepted we're gonna have to travel to everyone's backyard for fights at this point.
Yeah. Do you guys have a big gym up there?
I mean, the gym is big. Our pro team is relatively small, but we
Hmm.
got a lot of people that compete in like just jujitsu. We have a lot of wrestlers at our gym. So like we get a good variety of stuff. But like our pro MMA team's relatively small. Like it's me, it's Tim. We got Danik. He's kind
Hmm.
of back. I think he's going to be looking to get back into the mix soon.
Hmm.
And then we got a couple other guys that have had a lot of amateur experience that might be, making the leap pretty soon. So
Hmm. Yeah. So what made you want to get into fighting, into the turn pro from amateur? Because it's a pretty big difference and
it
a much
is.
more time commitment.
It is. It is. I mean, that was always the goal for me when I started. I knew like for me when I was growing up, it was always like, oh, what do you want to be when you're older? And like
Hmm.
everything was a professional athlete, right? Like a football player. Well, what if that doesn't work out? Like, all right, I'll play baseball then. Or I'll play basketball, whatever it is.
Hmm.
Always was passionate about fighting. It was something that was really big in my childhood growing up. My dad competed back before like MMA was really a big thing,
Hmm.
more so like international karate and everything like that.
Hmm.
So I always loved it, was always passionate about it. I would watch a lot of boxing growing up. And so then when I was done playing football in college, I was like, man, I don't want to just do nothing, right? Like I
Hmm.
feel like I have some, good skills that I was blessed with and I want to use them. I was like, well, what better time to get into fighting than now? So I started in kickboxing and then, transitioned to MMA. The goal was always to do it professionally.
Hmm.
Obviously, just wanted to get the amateur experience. And at that point in time, my last amateur fight, it was kind of the same position I'm in now. Tough to get fights, tough to get people to agree. I was having guys, pull out all the time.
Hmm.
So I was like, you know what? This is gonna be my last one. My last amateur fight was against an undefeated guy who is a really big prospect in the Northeast. So I was like, if I pass this test with flying colors, I know I'm ready, and that's exactly what happened. So we made the jump.
Nice, nice. Are there any promotions in New England that you want to fight for in particular, other than NEF or Combat Zone?
Dude, I'll fight for anybody, man. Like I don't discriminate when it comes to that. I see a lot of what the promotions are doing around here, and I love it all. I've had a really good experience with NEF. I've had a good experience with Combat Zone. I've seen what Cage Titans does.
Hmm.
Obviously, like LFA and CFFC when they're in this area. I like fighting for them. And really anyone else that's out there. I really don't mind. I just want fights at this point.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Are you going to be in attendance for Tim's fight?
No, unfortunately not.
Oh, right. You said your daughter's recital. My bad. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, it's
Yeah.
all good. It's all good. Normally, we do travel with each other and kind of help with the cut and everything.
Hmm.
I just have this commitment that we had before we even knew about this, but
Yeah.
I'll be there in spirit for sure.
Yeah, that's good. I'll be there. One of my friends, Connor Barry's fighting that night. He
Okay,
hasn't.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
hasn't fought in like 5 years, so he's making a comeback. So I'm like
Okay,
really excited to watch him.
yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
awesome. What's it like for you watching your friends fight?
Um, very like I get nervous. I get nervous and I just like almost freeze. Like I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for something to like boom go off.
Yeah,
It's like
for sure.
it's I love it. I love it a lot, but it's also very like I get nervous.
You and me both. I would rather be fighting like when it's me fighting, I'm good to go. Like not nervous at all. But watching my teammates or friends, it's like same feeling. You're just so tense the whole time watching it.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. And then after it's over, you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You come down like crazy. It's like holy shit, man.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any fighters on your radar that you want to fight? Because I know you posted something on your Instagram, which is kind of what intrigued me to do this interview today. And we can
Yeah.
bring that up if you want. I'll let
Oh
you
yeah.
do that. But is there anyone in particular you want to fight?
Lucas. Lucas Rosa, where you at, bro? I know you see me chirping at you. Normally I'm not the type to talk shit, but you want to keep ducking fights. I can't get fights, so I'm gonna have to resort to doing this. So let's see what that 9-0 is all about. You call yourself the king of monsters. Come see a real monster. Let's find out about it.
Yes, and Lucas Rosa, he's 9-0. He's been on quite the tear around New England here. Um,
Yeah,
what do you think of his abilities?
I think it's overinflated.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's 9-0, but look at who he's fought.
Yeah,
They were pushing for him to have a step up in competition, and then his last opponent comes in on a 12 fight losing streak.
yeah.
So, I it's tough, man. Like when you're out here and you're trying to get fights, you're trying to get the right fights, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I understand people have to, build up and work their way up. You can't just jump into the pro scene and start fighting, the guys on the doorstep of the UFC. But
Hmm.
there's a difference between like progressively challenging yourself and then just completely padding your record. And then the worst part is to go out and promote yourself the way that they do, acting as if he's, the next biggest prospect. He's this unbeatable monster, this, that, and the third.
Hmm.
They know exactly what they're doing, right? If you even look at his amateur record, right, he never fought anybody with a winning record. He still hasn't. So he's not willing to take that test. He's
Hmm.
a really a glorified bully, right? You're preying on the weak and calling yourself the baddest that's out there. So
Hmm.
let's find out, bro. Let's find
Yeah.
out. I want to see if that 9-0 is legit because I don't think it is.
I think that'd be a good fight. I just pulled up his record right here. I can see it.
Yeah.
Who he's fought, and the first two fights he had a pro were against an 0-2, and then an 0-5, and then 2-4, 0-6, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
To make
See,
that a 9-0 record for Lucas Rosa.
I don't lie about these things, man. It's just the facts. I see it for what it is. And so yeah, I want that fight. There's other guys out there that I'll take the fight with, but
Hmm.
that one particularly, just the way that I keep seeing him get promoted in the Northeast, like let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that'd be a great fight.
1 second, honey. 1 second, okay? Sorry about that. My daughter's trying to
Yeah,
get a hold of me.
yeah. No, I think that'd be a great fight. I'd love to see that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is your daughter interested at all in MMA? Does she know what you do?
She does, yeah. She calls it pow pow. She's 4, so she's always at the gym with me. She comes to practices a couple nights a week with me, and she's starting to express interest in it. Like, I walk by her, all of a sudden I'm just getting punched out of nowhere, and she likes to wrestle and stuff like that. So she's expressed interest in trying like the kids jujitsu class or the kids boxing class. So
Hmm.
we'll see. I definitely want her to learn how to defend herself. Whether or not she competes, I'm fine with that. She's a very intelligent and beautiful girl, so I want that brain to be saved.
Hmm.
So she doesn't have to be a dummy like her dad, but
Hmm.
we'll see.
Yeah, that's nice. Do you just have one kid?
Yeah, just my daughter right now, yeah.
Yep. Are you looking to have more, or are you just safe with one?
No, no, we'll definitely have more in the future. Just timing wise, right time, right place, everything like that. So probably
Hmm.
within, I'd say another year or two.
Hmm. Yeah. And do you do something? Do you have another job besides just fighting, pro fighting?
Yeah, so I'm a financial advisor. So I do a lot of retirement planning with individuals, a lot of long-term planning. So
Hmm.
got into that. I was just fighting for a little bit. I stopped my other job before just to try and focus on fighting. And then just with guys pulling out, turning it down. It was like a year straight where I went almost without a fight, and it was like, man, the whole plan of taking this risk was to be able to focus on it and bang out a couple fights and kind of accelerate the process of
Mm-hmm.
hopefully getting to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So, I ended up getting into this career, but I think it happened for a reason. I really enjoy it. I'm passionate about it. And it gives me a good balance. It gives me
Yeah.
something else to do besides just be in the gym and obviously brings in a little bit of money for me, so that helps out too.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Do you ever have um is one of your goals to ever open up your own gym, maybe train some people or
Yeah, I think that would be something that would be really cool one day. I really do like coaching. I like being able to help people out. That's kind of why I like the job that I have too, because
mm-hmm.
even though it's not fighting, I'm still kind of guiding them and coaching them. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that would be something that would be awesome. I would like to have other fighters be a part of it too, just because I'm a big believer. Like, there's guys that have wrestled, 20 years longer than I have. So
Yeah.
although I know some wrestling stuff, I can teach it. I want to have experts in everything and kind
Mm-hmm.
of work together in unison. So if I were to open a gym one day, like I'd like to have a couple partners involved with that and just make like just a phenomenal facility that's just got the
Yeah.
best of the best there. So
That's nice. That's nice. And would you be looking to stay in New York in the area you're currently at right now or maybe venture off?
Mm, I don't even know if I want to stay in New York right now without even having my own gym. I'm sick of the snow, so we'll see. I would like to move down south eventually, so
mm-hmm.
maybe that would work out better. It's a bigger area, more of a draw with some of the other big gyms down there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Well, first of all, thank you, man, for having me on. I appreciate it. I just want to give a shout out to my gym, Ultimate Athletics, all my coaches, my training partners. I always say it, I wouldn't be where I am without them. So, kudos to them. Constantly pushing me every day to be the best fighter I can possibly be. Thank you to my family for always being there, always supporting me. Again, without them, definitely wouldn't be able to be here. And then all my sponsors, again, that's a huge thing for fighters. It helps cover so much of the expenses that we have and it helps make up for, really the lower level, checks that we get at the regional scene, just so we can still, put food on the table for a little bit and get from fight to fight. So, huge thank you to them. Looking to expand that and announce some new ones coming on soon. And also just continue rocking with the ones that have been with me since day one. So, shout out to everybody that's been a part of the journey and can't wait for what's next.